So my take on modern Mayans going to weave together tomatoes and habaneros, that classic Yucatecan combination, with a garlic cilantro marinade, some salmon, some pasta. Well, let me just get started with the marinade here. I've got a bunch of cilantro that I'm just going to roughly cut stems and all. And then I'm going to scoop that all into the blender jar. Throw in a couple of cloves of garlic. Those were peeled cloves of raw garlic. I'm going to drizzle in some olive oil. And of course, since this is a marinade, it's going to need some salt. It's going to need a fair amount because this is a major seasoning in this dish. So we'll put the top on the blender and make a puree out of that cilantro and garlic. Okay, that I am going to pour over these beautiful wild-caught salmon fillets. Now that looks just beautiful, and this is of course destined for the grill. There we go. But also destined for the grill will be these tomatoes, habanero, and some garlic. Kind of my twist in this case on the roasted tomato habanero sauces of the Yucatan. Now that garlic, after it's grilled, will be soft on the inside, sort of blotchy black on the outside. Peel all the skins off of it. The tomatoes, I've already peeled most of those, but they too will be soft with their blackened skin that you can just peel right off once they've gotten cool. Now, into the blender, all of this mix is going to go. All tomatoes, all of the garlic, and I'm going to throw in well, I'd say probably 2 of these roasted habaneros because I think 2 will give us the right amount of heat for this dish. Then we're going to blend that to a smooth consistency. Now I'm going to use this grilled tomato habanero sauce to make lasagna with. And I've got about 4 cups of puree here, but I'm going to need about 6 cups of sauce. So I'm going to add water, and I'm going to sprinkle in salt because it's got to be a finished sauce. Give that just a little whir through the blender like that. I'm going to take a cup of the sauce away, pour it into a skillet so that I can use that for a little garnish at the end. Now we're going to make a filling for our modern Mayan lasagna that'll start off sort of like you would expect a lasagna filling to start, with some ricotta cheese, but then we're going to give it a couple of Mexican twists here. I'm going to add to it about a half a cup of Mexican crema, you know, that very rich, nutty tasting cream, sort of like creme fraiche, a good handful of finely chopped cilantro, and then I'm going to crack in 3 eggs. All of that will get stirred together, and we're ready to move on then to the layering of the lasagna. Now, in the restaurant, most of us would boil dried pasta or even make some fresh pasta of our own, but I'm going to give you a little time-saving tip for home. I sometimes use this no-boil lasagna. It just makes things go really super fast. So when you layer it to make your lasagna, I'm going to put about a quarter of our sauce here in the bottom, and then the next step is to take some of these pasta sheets, 4 of them to be exact. They look real different than the regular lasagna sheets that you have to boil, and you just kind of stagger them through like that, nestling them into your sauce. Now a little bit more sauce will go over the top of it here, and I'm going to put half of the ricotta mix on top of that, and then we'll just keep layering pasta, sauce, and ricotta until we reach the top, and sprinkle it with a little Mexican Chihuahua cheese. Now cover it with foil and put it into a 375-degree oven and bake it for about 45 minutes. Now, that little bit of sauce that we separated out, I've cooked it down till it's very thick. That'll give it a nice cooked flavor. And then I'm going to add a little bit of broth to it and whirl that around to make a sauce that we'll use to garnish our plates. Now, this is the lasagna after it's baked. I actually uncovered it for the last 15 minutes of bacon so it would brown a little bit. But here's a little restaurant trick. If you want beautiful presentation, then you let it cool off completely so you can cut the squares, and then I cut the squares into triangles, and it's now time to reheat them for our final beautiful presentation. Slide those into a hot oven along with that grill-marked salmon, and we'll reheat the two of them together. Slide those warm triangles of our modern Mayan lasagna onto a plate, top it with a piece of that grilled salmon. Drizzle a little of the sauce around, a spoonful of Mexican crema on top, and a shower of cilantro.